First, I just want to say thank you for coming back. I understand this isn't easy to talk about, and the fact that you're willing to open up and share something this personal with not just me, but with everyone watching, that really means a lot. Now, in our last conversation, you started to walk us through the fallout that was beginning to happen at home. At this point, it seems like your wife had found a new level of attention, a certain level of fame, and financial success as well. And with that came new connections, new people entering her life through her OnlyFans platform. And from what you've described, it sounds like she may have started reevaluating your relationship in the middle of all of that. What stands out to me is how quickly everything seemed to unfold, almost like it all hit at once, completely shaking the foundation that you all had built together. So let me ask you this. What else was happening during that time? What were some of the key moments or turning points that pushed things further? And ultimately, what led her to start taking things to the next level with her clients?
There's so many things that I want to talk about here that I'm just not sure what to cover first. But I'll just start by saying this. Things began to decline very rapidly after that. Once she had gained a nice number of followers on Instagram and OnlyFans, then her whole day was consumed with chatting with all these individuals. She would isolate herself in the bedroom for hours with the door closed and music playing. And then came the custom requests from clients. Now, at this point, she had pretty much stopped sharing any information with me. So I could only guess at what was going on behind those closed doors. I tried not to focus on it by constantly telling myself that these are faithless customers and she's corresponding with them over an internet connection. I mean, how bad can it be? But in reality, things were starting to manifest outwardly because now she had all of these friends that she met online. And it didn't stop there. She actually started virtually dating some of these guys. I think she called it the girlfriend experience. Basically, she would rent out her personal time to a client for a set amount of money. I immediately disagreed with that. I thought it was a horrible idea. But by that point, she didn't care what I thought. And quite honestly, she had become addicted to the attention and the validation. So then things start to escalate even more. Not long after she started doing these virtual dates, she went out and got a separate mailbox. Why, you ask? So she could receive gifts from her clients: shoes, hats, jewelry. And that's just the things that I knew about. Hell, one guy even paid for her to go to acting school. And meanwhile, I'm still working as a truck driver. My schedule had me going every other day. So looking back, it was a recipe for disaster. I could feel it. Everything was starting to spiral out of control. And it wasn't just what she was doing, it was who she was becoming. She grew distant, really distant. Like we would pass each other in the house and she would actually move just to avoid contact with me. And when I would call her while I was out on the road, she had nothing to say. Hell, sometimes she wouldn't even answer. And that's when it really started to hit me. I was losing her.
So at this point, you all were in a very bad place. And that's very unfortunate to hear. Now, was there anything at this point that you feel like you could have done different? Do you ever think about a point during all of this where you wish you could just hit pause and then re-record?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I think about it all the time. And looking back, I can admit that I probably could have handled a lot of things differently. But pride is a monster. And if I'm being real, we were both guilty of that. So I started to feel like that she just didn't want me anymore. And the strange part is that the more that I tried not to feel that way, the more her actions seemed to push me in that direction. They just kept getting worse and worse. And I'll be honest with you, I was actually starting to lose trust in her. I'll let that sit. And I knew that was a bad sign because in 20 years together, there was never a time, not once, where I didn't trust my wife. So that hit me hard. I felt guilty about it, about not trusting her.
So, to your knowledge, was there ever a time where you actually found out that you were not wrong about not trusting her? Did you catch her in the act or anything?
I'm going to say this first. Over the next few months, she started separating from me little by little. And the strange part is it almost felt methodical. Like I mentioned before, she would go out of her way to avoid even brushing past me if we were walking toward each other in the house. Then she stopped making love to me. That was the first thing to go. And even before it completely stopped, I could feel it. She just wasn't into it anymore. And it wasn't the same. And then not long after that, she bought another bed. She set it up in the guest room and eventually she started sleeping in there. Then she stopped kissing me. Then she stopped hugging me. It was gradual, step by step. But looking at it now, it felt like it was all pre planned. Like she had already mapped out the entire separation and was just executing it piece by piece. And around that same time, her personality really started to change too. She became very easy to offend, very withdrawn, to the point where she wasn't even too much keeping in touch with her own family. So, to answer your question, the moment I really started to suspect something deeper was going on was when she started changing things that had nothing at all to do with me. Her eating habits changed, and then she started listening to avant-garde jazz, something she had never, not once, shown any interest in 20 years. That's when it hit me. That's when I was pretty sure that she had met someone else.
But what I am asking you is, did you ever actually find out, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that she was seeing someone?
Yes. Unfortunately, the answer to that question is yes. Here's what happened. So she had taken a trip with two of her girlfriends first. Now, I was a little suspicious about it, but not too much. I called her every day while she was there, which was nothing unusual because in the past we would always stay in constant contact with each other if we had went somewhere without the other. So she made it seem like everything was normal, except one day she didn't answer the phone at all, which was unusual. And of course, that doesn't mean anything, but I had a weird feeling about it. Well, she made it back home, never said another word about the girls' trip, and I never asked any questions about it. Shortly after that, she had begun to get very hostile towards me. Like everything that I did offended her at this point. So one day we were having dinner at home, and I just happened to walk past her phone, which was laying on the table. I see this message on Telegram from a dude talking about, I miss you too, baby. Now, there's a few things I thought about here. First, for him to say that I miss you too, she had to have said it first. And in addition to that, Why were they communicating on Telegram? So I asked her about it. I noticed the guy's name and I filed it in my memory. Of course, she got mad, but So then one night, I came home from being on the road. It was about 4 a.m. And when I walked past the guest room where she was sleeping, I could hear her talking on the phone. And when she heard me pass by the door, she fell silent. Then, about a month later, she decided to go visit her parents. Now, her parents live quite a long distance away, so far away that she has never driven there to go see them by herself. Not in the 14 years that we lived in this house together. Besides, we have to drive through a mountain range to get there. And she's very afraid of driving through that mountain range by herself. But some kind of way, all of a sudden, she overcame her fear and decided to drive to see her parents alone. I offered to help her drive there and back, and she turned me down flat. And it was quicker than any no that I had ever heard from her before. So before she left, I asked her how long she would be gone, and she said, "I don't know. I might make a stop in this city over here, and before I head home." And I said, "Why would you do that?" And she said, "So she can have some space." When a person tells you that they need space, they already have one foot out the door. So I said, "Okay, no problem. Be safe." Well, it took her several days to even leave to go on the trip, but she finally got the nerve to get on the highway and on her way to see her folks. Now, just like the first trip, I called her every day. And to be fair, she was calling me as well. After she was there for about a week, she decided that she was gonna stay for a few more days. I can't remember what her excuse was at this point. All I can tell you is that she had one. All of a sudden, after she extended her trip, she quit answering the phone. So I'm like, okay, here we go again. And it just seems strange and unusual. So after she stayed for about 4 more days, she started heading home. Once she got home for the first time in a long time, she actually seemed pretty happy to see me. And of course, now I know that it was guilt. So after she got back home and got settled in, I just asked her outright if she had driven out there to meet someone. I was surprised when she didn't try to cover it up. She just owned up to it. She did apologize to me for doing it, and I was literally too hurt to even comment too much on it. I wasn't super upset, just hurt. Come to find out, it was the same guy who had messaged her on Telegram about a month prior. Go figure. A few months later, she was completely moved out of the house. She rented a one-bedroom apartment on the other side of town, and that's it. So here we are.